Elephants, lions, tigers, and even monkeys. All of them are presented in some symbols here, in India one way or another. And I'll prove it to you. Clearly, there are certain stereotypes that help us to imply this or that culture in our perspective. If the country is small and the population there is very small, and the fauna is not so rich, then it is good. But I am confused here. Who is most important for the Indians? Maybe those animals that live side by side. You know, the cities here, left not so far from the habitat for animals, to be honest. You will not find such a diversity of urban fauna anywhere else in the world, only in India. Cows, pigs, dogs live on the streets here. All of them, strangely enough, fulfill one function. They are hospital aides of the city. They eat dirt, garbage, everything that remains from humans. It is possible to treat differently this way of life, but for a very poor and overpopulated India, this is the normal state of things. To be honest, if I was Mowgli from the famous Jungle Book, I would not hurry to return to people here. But the inhabitants of this country formed such a living space here, and this is normal, familiar to them. Hello. Sacred animal. You walk everywhere in the streets, and no one bothers you, and does not forbid you to do this. You are beautiful, with a beautiful hump. So maybe those animals that have entered civilization at one time with humans can be considered as symbols of the country. Why not? We can meet cows and zebu everywhere, living next to a person. Treat them with sweets, earn 1,000 pluses in karma. Well, I'll just stroke the first zebu. There are a lot of such cows on the streets of India. In fact, this zebu is a subspecies of a wild bull. They come from the Indonesian peninsula, as far as I can remember. Everyone is interested. Why does a zebu have such a hump on its back? Unlike camels, who store up stocks for a rainy day there, zebu do not save anything here. These are muscles. And even scientists don't know the answer to that question. So, guys, I'm not a specialist here either. But that doesn't prevent cows and zebu from remaining an important part of the life of Indians. And it was like this from very old times. Between the 2nd and 1st millennium BC, just imagine how long that was ago. The Vedas appeared on the territory of modern India, and the cow was equated as the deity there already, and her killing was considered as the gravest sin. A sacred animal, a sacred cow. Nobody can touch them here. They feel free. And don't interfere with anyone. Well, from the other side, they interfere on the roads, of course. But they feel, you know, like our cats and dogs on the street. You are beautiful. Why is that? Yes, look around. The people did not live richer before, and they can't eat only prana, you know. Therefore, the animal which is able to get food for its own and even feed families. So, it became to the level of God for the poor people. Why are you tweaking her tail, boy? Indians themselves do not make a difference in their attitude to cows and zebus. Both are called as deities. Gautama. Gau is cow in Sanskrit. Doesn't remind you of anything? The English inherited the word cow from the common Indo-European language. It has almost the same sounds. Yes, and we have this ancient root too. Govet, prepare for Holy Communion. Gaviadina, beef. All this comes from the old Slavic name of cattle, gaviado. Now I observe all this magnificence of fauna on city streets, and I understand that Indians are perhaps the most tolerant nation in relation to animals. They treat all animals perfectly. They love them very much. They don't beat them, don't torture. They treat camels, horses, cows, pigs, and even annoying monkeys with great respect. I don't really want to call a cow or zebu a symbol of India. I'd leave the cow for the Swiss. And zebu is the main animal of many African countries. And it's depicted on the state of arms of Madagascar. There are more horns than people. Let's leave the other continents with the symbolic status of the zebu and look for something more. Do you know, dear friends, that the length of the coastline of India is over 4,300 miles? This is a huge distance. 4,300 miles of coastline. All these miles are washed by different seas and oceans. The Arabian Sea, the Indian Ocean, and the Bay of Bengal. There are a lot of fish here. It's the Indian Ocean, and many fishermen. And the fishermen have their own superstitions, their symbols, their talismans, their beliefs, their animals, and the fish that bring them luck. And of course, the birds. The strangest thing is that you can see herons here instead of habitually rushing gulls over the sea. However, they also scream disgustingly. Most herons live here during the year. Some of them wander by, some just spend winters, eat with the hosts. And they literally eat everything that moves. That's why herons in India are everywhere, in the mountains and the rice fields on the coast. They are smart and cunning birds, so they stay close to the fishing schooners and easily catch a fish from the nets. Hello, how are you? Hello. Working? Who speaks English here? English, no? Hindi? Gujarati? The official languages of India are Hindi and English. Well, fishermen are simple. They are local. They understand each other, and generally, you won't talk with the fish a lot. So they only communicate in their native dialect. Well, they're friendly at least. I do not speak Gujarati, unfortunately. Yeah, guys, I'm sorry. I don't know your dialect, but I speak Russian. Not bad, I believe. How can I talk to you, huh? And there's no translator. And I didn't learn Portuguese, but many people speak it here. A heavy colonial heritage, you know. The fact is that it was not the English who were in charge here. These lands were acquired by the Portuguese in the beginning of the 16th century. They established Christian control over the eastern trade routes. All the coast, right up to Goa, was a Portuguese colony. Although almost to the middle of the last century, this part of India, in particular the Diu Island, was under the patronage of Portugal. There are still a lot from Indians here. Despite the fact that the Portuguese brought here their particular color, pay attention to the flags. I think that these ships sailed under these flags 50 and even 100 years ago, till now. It seems that fishermen do not pay too much attention to some symbolic meanings of animals. But they can also remember that the god Vishnu had been incarnated in fish to warn humanity about the flood. He is even portrayed as a half fish, half man. But the Indians arrange the ritual associated with this incarnation only once a year, all in its time. With the abundance of gods and their avatars which require veneration, it's impossible to do otherwise. Here, everyday life is connected with other deities.
We drink milk before leaving.
You drink milk?
Yes, look, we just brought it.
Is this for the whole team? Your whole team which drinks milk before you go to the sea?
Yes, that's how it works.
These are the fans of Gautama for sure, the cow patroness. However, I don't know. Maybe for children, it's a chance to just drink such tasty milk before a long swim. Looking at their ship, I assume that they will soon have to eat only what they catch. Although, I might not refuse a week of the freshest seafood. The main thing is to not fall overboard. Ah, it's a lobster. But if I had more time, I wouldn't refuse going to sea with them. It is absolutely amazing fishing here. That incomparable with 3 gudgeons and 2 bleaks in the Midland of Russia. There are more than 100 species of commercial fish, tuna, sardines, marlin, and sailfish, mackerel, sea bream, and finally sharks. While I was looking at the schooners and dreaming of seas and coral, I suddenly saw a tip which helps me to choose a direction to move. You see, there are lions on the flags. People walk under the flags with a land animal into the ocean. And when it is about the ocean, we mean that there should be some kind of mermaid, octopus, sperm whale. No, here in India, look, there are flags with the Asian lion. And it's very cool. I had a reason to come to Gujarat. This is the only place on earth where the Asian lion lives. But I still take short views, because it may very well happen that this rare animal just does not want to show itself to me. It maliciously looks at me from everywhere for a while. You can't pass here along the line without mentioning it. And I want to see myself, to make sure that it can be considered a real talisman of India. If you want your travel to India to be successful, you must appease the local gods. The easiest way to do this is to buy florets. Bring them to the temple and everything will be fine. That's what I'm going to do now. But what I want to show you is that you all remember our domestic coins. These coins depict the 2-headed eagle. Well, it is not for nothing called eagle tails. So, there is not an eagle at all. There are 3 lions drawn here. And these 3 lions are the main symbol of India. However, I did not reach the temple. The first deity on the street got my offering. You know, I really like to go to places where there are no noisy crowds of so-called civilized people who smeared with sun cream and cameras around their necks. The real life of the country exists in such remote corners. You'll find out how ordinary citizens of India actually live only here. It is interesting to observe the life of a simple, small coastal town. You know, this is not a tourist place. Tourists don't reach this place. Only Indians live here. And they live happily. I've already said that the fauna, which is represented on the Indian streets, boggles the imagination. There are goats, cows, dogs, cats, birds, chipmunks, monkeys, and they all coexist with people together and live well. The everyday scene here looks like a man brought greens, apparently to his restaurant, and the goats stole them all. Here, take it. Oh, you are so little. Come to me. Oh. You're so small. Look, lamb, your heart is beating so fast, huh? You are so warm, little cutie. Look at his cherubic face. I already said that this is a Portuguese place. So Portuguese that it looks even more like the colonial cities of Latin America. Here, for example, the cathedral is built in the mold of European Catholic churches. And just like on that side of the globe, nature surrounds the symbols of other countries and eras in the most unexpected way. In the morning and evening, there are public worship services in the Church of St. Paul. And all the rest of the time here, you see there are nests of parrots, green parrots, whom there are a lot of here, on the island of Diu, and in India in general. He says to me, hello. And yet it's time to achieve the goal of the whole trip. I want to see an Asian lion. Well, finally, I reached the lion preserve. It is difficult to find a lion in the living nature. They were on the verge of extinction until this national park, Gierski Les, was established in 1965. But they do not hurry to meet a man even here. Although it would seem there is only dust from them that doesn't blow away. Well, while we are moving along this gloomy road, we can see those, thanks to whom lions successfully survive here. The main food of Asian lions is now grazed here behind my back. A huge number of deer live here, and that is why there is no problem with food for the lions. A little sad to consider that these handsome animals as food. Axis, the Indian deer, in my opinion, is the most beautiful deer of all. The only thing that comforts me is that when the lions almost disappeared here, the deer breed expands so much that they became a serious problem for the local residents. Huge ungulates herds were not embarrassed to feed in the fields and eat the crops of cultivated plants. The peasants weren't satisfied, frankly speaking. All we need to do is to find these lions. We already saw their food. And where are the lions? Let's take a look. And when I was already desperate, they appeared in front of us. Here they are. I was going here for so long and so hard for a reason, making offerings to the gods. Gir National Park, the only place in the world where Asian lions are left. Just imagine in the end, more precisely at the beginning of the last century, the population of Asian lions was reduced to 13 individuals. Only 13 individuals remained here. And now, thanks to the fact that the Indian government still began to restore the population, as the guide told me today, there are already 511 lions living here. This is a great success because imagine, from 13 to 500. It's very cool. And I'm not going to disturb them. Let the pride rest. These lions are also social animals. They have families that are not as big as the African lions, but they are permanent. 8 to 12 people. Well, lions. Lions are so majestic, so calm like the kings, so we want to call them people. I just quietly observed these animals from afar, images of which we found everywhere in India, but now we see them alive. But they used to live all around India, in the northern Caucasus, in part of China, and even in Greece. And here, there are only 511 individuals now. And each one is counted. And they all live here, only in Gujarat. Now these beautiful animals are resting. They say that yesterday they filled themselves up with deer, and now they're resting. And after I got acquainted with important animals of India, sacred and useful and funny, I still think that the talisman cannot be met at every step. There must be something mystical about him. Perhaps that's why so much attention has been paid to lions in Indian mythology. Buddha himself was embodied in a lion. the personification of courage, nobility, and constancy. The life of this whole country with the arms with 3 lions have made exactly the same impression on me. And I give the title of the main symbol of India to this strong and enduring beast.